Hey there guys, how you doing? Dave, the RV dummy. Well, it's that time of the year. I am taking my van, Class B leisure travel. Of course, her name is Sarani. Taking it to do a little bit of indoor storage. I'm going to be doing some traveling, and it's going to be getting cold around these areas here, and I really prefer to keep Sarani indoors when I'm away for long periods of time during bad weather. Well, I should say during cold weather, not necessarily bad weather, but cold weather in the winter. And there are a lot of reasons for that. And one of the reasons is just so it's in a climate-controlled environment. It can be looked after. I don't have to worry about things like rodents or freezing or storms or wind or anything that could potentially damage my beautiful Sarani van back here, because of course I love Sarani. I want to take such good care of her, and I just want to make sure she is looked after in the really cold, inclement weather. And of course we know during cold weather rodents like to come in and get into warm places, and I just don't want to have any nests or infestations or anything weird happen during the cold weather when I come back to take Sarani out again for some real fun and travel. So I'm dropping her off right now. Let's see if they'll give me permission to go inside this wonderful storage facility and show you around a little bit. Maybe if I'm lucky, I can talk to one of the people in charge there, and we can take a look around and get some questions answered and show you what it's like to store your rig indoors. So here we are. Jim has been nice enough to let me come inside and take a look around. And while I got Jim, you pretty much run the show here. What do you do?
Well, I guess I do. I just take care of vehicles for everybody. Basically, do what they need.
Give me an idea. Like you've got Class A's, B's, C's, trailers, all kind of. What do you think what's the most common rig you have in here for storage?
Probably the Class A's. Yeah, they're real popular. We do move them around quite a bit. Yeah.
How many total rigs would you say you have?
Customers-wise, we have over 300 just inside the warehouse.
How large is this? How many square feet?
It's 100,000 square feet.
I can't even imagine 100,000. That's pretty darn big.
And we fill it up completely.
If I could ask you, like, what the biggest mistake is that you see people that bring their rigs in, they drop them off to you, something goes on. What would you say, like, the biggest mistake or the most common mistake you always see is blank?
Unhooking trailers, travel trailers. They sometimes get it mixed up to which way they need to unhook from the ball itself to the sway bars. Sometimes I'll unhook the ball first before they take the sway bars off, and then you really can't get the sway bars off. So usually I have to teach them to do the other way around.
So you're teaching the owners how to do
it. I've learned a lot just from being here on everything that needs to be done on travel trailers, RVs, whatever. Yeah.
Hey, guess what? That's why I got a Class B. It's so damn easy. Class B is so
right.
easy. If you could give me one great reason why any RV owner should really consider keeping their rig indoors when they're not using it, what would be the
There's many benefits.
Give me a couple. Give me a few.
You don't have to winterize in the wintertime. That's a great benefit. And it's a very cost-effective that way. And then fading of the paint from the sun, especially for the people who are year-rounders, is a great advantage for that. They don't dry rot the tires. You don't have to, dump all your water out. I mean, you can still take it out anytime you want, where most people will winterize their vehicles through the winter. You don't have to here. You get a nice weekend during November, you still take it out, and we'll still set it up, clean it up, get it ready to go.
Another thing that's really big, you don't have to worry about rodents.
The rodents at
Rodents
all.
are tremendous coming in.
I mean, that's my job here, is just whatever the customer requests, I pretty much get it set up. I'll plug it in the day before, get the refrigerator cold, get the batteries charged, check the tires, we'll wash it. It's all included in the price of the storage.
Jim, thanks so much for your time. Before I let you go, I might as well let you give your operation here a little plug for anybody that's watching this that's anywhere near the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area. I highly recommend this place. As I said, I've known Jim for over a year. I've used this place for over a year. I love it. I wouldn't do it any other way. Give yourself a little plug. How can somebody reach you? Where are you? How can somebody reach you?
Just look on our website, BWI Storage. Most of our information is on there. You can call 410-768-4294. We'd be glad to even give you a tour if you wish. Come around, just get a tour. But technically, right now in the wintertime, we're full, completely full. But we definitely will take customers during the summer. That's when we open up. So.
I'll tell you something. Congratulations. That's a good problem to have. Totally full. Can't take anybody right now.
Can't take anybody.
That's the kind of problem I want to have in business.
It's a good problem.
Jim, thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it. I will talk to you soon.
All right, great. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so here we have Paul. Paul, how's it going there?
It's going pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic as always. What's your gig here? What are you up to at BWI Indoor Storage?
I am the in-house detailer here, so I detail the RVs here, and I try to make them look as clean as possible.
And what are you doing right now on this one? I see you got a little Class B here. You're doing something.
Class B, yeah. I am washing this down, getting it ready. A customer is going to take it out for the weekend, so I'm degreasing it down and putting some protection on the front of it.
See, you see a lot of rigs come through here. You detail them, you clean them, you wax them. If you could give some advice to people that have RVs, what would you say is maybe a common mistake that you see that could help people keep their RVs in better shape longer?
Sure. I would say if you've never had it actually degreased and waxed, meaning all the waxes, sealants, traffic film, bugs, guts, tar, all kind of stuff removed from your RV, and then a sealant or a wax put on it, I highly recommend that. That's going to kind of seal in the finish on it. It's going to prevent oxidation. You'll see on a lot of RVs, you'll get the black marks that come down. If you don't address those early on, they can become permanent, and it can be a real pain in the you-know-what to get them off of there. So if you've never had it waxed or a sealant put on there, I highly recommend getting it on there at least once or twice a year.
This past summer, we took our rig out west, and so there were a lot of days it's hot, and you're driving along the interstate, and there are bugs all over the place. And then you stop to fuel up, and you see the whole, the grill and everything's covered with bugs, and they're smashed. And is there an easy way? And I'm thinking, like, this spring, I'm going to be taking it down to Florida, which might even be worse. And what I don't want to do is have like a permanent bug problem that it gets to the point where you can't even remove them. What do you recommend doing for somebody that's like traveling in the middle of a trip and they're seeing the bugs all over the place on their rigs?
Great question. And if your RV has been cleaned properly and there's been a sealant or wax put on there, a lot of times it makes it 10 times easier to remove them. And what you can do is either spray it off with some water or just have a waterless solution that you have with you, spray it on there and kind of just scrub it off. But if you don't have a wax or sealant on there, those bugs are like a magnet on there. And they can, sometimes I'll spend an hour and a half just on the front of someone's RV because of the amount of bugs. So I would recommend getting a wax or sealant on there, or turtle wax bug remover is a really great retail product. You spray it on there, let it sit for a little bit, and just blast it off with some water.
I'll tell you one thing I did when we were on this summer trip, and bugs were getting, and not only bugs, but just all kinds of dirt and stuff all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
So here's what I did, and tell me if this is a problem or not. But every time I stopped off and got gas, they always have those the squeegee things, and so I dipped it in a whole bunch of that water, and I did the best I could just to try to remove all this, because I had to, otherwise it would have been totally covered. And so I figured if I did that every couple hundred miles, at least that's a start keeping it clean.
Absolutely. Or a great thing is you'll have a rinseless or a waterless wash, and you can get them online. There's a lot of different ones, and you can make a spray bottle of it, and you can just spray it on the bugs and let it sit for a couple minutes, and a lot of times with a rag you can wipe it right off. And that's what I do on my car, and I do recommend it to customers. It's a good thing when you're away from having someone actually wash it.
I love it. Paul, I know you're busy and you're trying to get this thing clean, so I really appreciate your time. This was really, really helpful. And if you get a second, look at my rig that I'm bringing in now. If you think it needs any attention, let me know. We'll see if we can get that cleaned up too.
Look at it now.
You're going to probably say
clean.
It does. What's that?
I'm looking at it now. It looks pretty clean.
It looks pretty, but I have a feeling when you look at it closer, you're going to say you can help it quite a bit. I have a feeling. So Paul, thanks so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it. Always good seeing you.
You too. Thanks.